Ah, my friend, you came back. I can see that sparkle in your eyes again. The same one I saw when you were blushing the other day when I joked about romance after 60. Don't roll your eyes at me. I may be 80, but I've still got sharper vision than you think. And let me tell you something right from the start. When you reach my age, there's no room left for pretending. No masks, no little lies. We deal with the raw truth, and sometimes that truth is hilarious, sometimes it's heartbreaking, and sometimes, well, it's embarrassingly sensual. Now, you asked me to share what I've learned about love, intimacy, and those so-called sex secrets that aging seniors wish they knew sooner. Oh, you don't know what you've unleashed, my dear. At 80, I've heard it all, seen it all, and yes, done more than I should probably admit. But the beauty of this moment is that I get to tell you about it not as a doctor, not as a priest, but as your old friend Paul. An old man with a heart full of memories and a tongue too loose to keep secrets anymore. And before you smirk, let me remind you, growing older doesn't erase desire. It doesn't cancel out romance. If anything, it makes it richer, like wine that's been sitting in the cellar too long. It might be dusty, but once you open it, oh boy, the flavor knocks you off your feet. So lean in closer, because I'm going to reveal 6 things, 6 secrets that could save you from regret, add fire to your later years, and maybe even make you giggle like a teenager again. Don't worry, I'll lace it with plenty of jokes. You know me, I can't keep it serious for too long. But first, let me warm you up with a story, because every lesson deserves a story, doesn't it? When I was 65, yes, a spry young man compared to now, I remember sitting at a dinner table with some friends from church. We were all joking about who had the best dentures, and out of nowhere, one lady, bless her soul, leaned in and said, "Paul, do you still, do it?" The whole table went silent. You could have heard a pin drop into the mashed potatoes. And then I, without missing a beat, said, "Honey, at my age, the only thing that stops working is the toaster. Everything else just needs a little more warming up." Everyone laughed so hard we nearly choked on the green beans. But you know what? That question stuck with me, because the truth is, intimacy doesn't vanish when you grow older. It only changes. It becomes softer, slower, sometimes clumsier, but also deeper, more emotional, and often a heck of a lot more meaningful. And that leads me right into secret number 1. Secret 1. Intimacy is more than the physical. Most people, when they're younger, think sex is all fireworks and acrobatics. And sure, when you're 20, maybe you can bend like a pretzel without calling the ambulance. But by the time you're 60, 70, 80, let's be honest, you'll need to stretch for 10 minutes just to roll over in bed. And that's fine, because the greatest secret I wish more seniors knew is that intimacy isn't only about what happens under the sheets. It's about tenderness, touch, closeness. It's about holding hands and letting silence fill the room without awkwardness. It's about laughing when something doesn't go according to plan, like when you get a cramp in your leg mid-romance and both of you end up rolling onto the floor in hysterics. I once had a friend, let's call him George, who confided in me at 72. "Paul, I thought I lost it. I thought I couldn't love my wife the same way anymore." But then, one evening, he simply kissed her forehead and whispered, "You're still the prettiest girl I know." And she burst into tears. That moment was more intimate than any wild night they'd had in their youth. Because intimacy, my friend, is emotional fuel. But oh, don't worry, I'm not saying the physical side disappears. In fact, let me slide you into secret 2. Secret 2? Your body still craves connection. Respect it. You might laugh at this, but I'll be blunt. Desire doesn't retire. It may take longer, it may require more patience, but the body doesn't forget. If you ignore that, you end up feeling half alive. You see, the older generation, my parents for example, they grew up with the idea that once you pass a certain age, all that stops. It becomes taboo, like a forbidden fruit you're no longer allowed to touch. But let me tell you, I've seen seniors in their 70s holding each other like teenagers in love, and it's one of the most beautiful sights in the world. I'll confess, when I turned 70, I thought my days of passion were behind me. Then, one evening, while watching an old black and white movie, I caught myself humming along to the soundtrack and, don't laugh, dancing with myself in the living room. That night, I realized my body was still alive, still wanting rhythm, closeness, connection. Now, let me pause here to tell our listeners something. If you're enjoying these little secrets and stories, don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend who needs a laugh, and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, the best is yet to come, and you won't want to miss it. All right, moving on before you accuse me of becoming a salesman. Secret 4. Oh, this one hits harder than a strong cup of coffee at 6 a.m. Secret 4. Your health is directly tied to your intimacy. Let me put it this way. If your heart's not pumping, nothing else will. If your body's aching, intimacy takes a back seat. That's why exercise, diet, and regular checkups aren't just about avoiding the doctor's scolding. They're about keeping the spark alive. I know a man, bless his stubborn soul, who ignored his health for years, smoked like a chimney, drank like a sailor, and one day, when intimacy came knocking, his body simply didn't answer the door. It devastated him, not just physically, but emotionally too. He told me, "Paul, I wish I'd taken better care of myself, not for the sake of living longer, but so I could keep loving longer." That, my friend, is the golden truth. Health equals passion. I could go on for hours, and trust me, I will, but let's pause here because I don't want to overwhelm you all at once. And besides, the juiciest secrets are still waiting. Stay close because in the next stretch, I'll tell you the last 2 secrets, the ones that really make the difference between regret and joy in your senior years. But don't rush me. I'll keep this flowing like fine wine. After all, we've still got miles of story to travel. Now, refill your cup of tea or wine if you're cheeky like me, because I've only just begun. Secret number 5. Emotional intimacy is the true spark of desire. Friend, let me tell you something that took me decades to truly understand. I used to think desire was all about physical performance, stamina, and proving I still had it. I thought the measure of a man's virility was in hours spent, muscles flexed, positions mastered. And sure, in youth, that feels like the whole story. But by the time you reach 60, 70, 80, your body whispers that it doesn't work the way it used to. And suddenly, all the measures of pride and performance that you once valued seem meaningless. It is in those later years that you realize the fire you've been chasing isn't in the body alone, it's in the heart and mind. Emotional intimacy fuels desire in a way muscles and stamina never can. The closeness, trust, laughter, vulnerability, shared stories, and even quiet silences between 2 people create a spark that lasts decades. And friend, if I could go back, I'd scream this truth to my younger self. Love with your heart, not just your body. I remember a night in my early 60s. My wife and I had been married for decades, and I was grappling with changes in my body. My energy wasn't what it used to be. My drive had ebbed, and insecurity gnawed at me. I worried that she might see me as less of a man. That night, I finally admitted my fears. I told her about my worries, my shame, my anxiety, my sense of inadequacy. And she, with that gentle, unwavering gaze that could melt icebergs, said, "Paul, I don't need the show. I need you." Friend, that sentence changed everything. It lifted a veil I didn't even know existed. I realized she didn't care about my stamina, my skill, or hours of performance. She cared about presence, being fully there, with heart and mind open.
That night, we held each other, whispered jokes, shared memories, and let intimacy grow without expectation. And desire returned, not in bursts of youthful heat, but in steady, comforting waves, richer and deeper than anything I felt in my 20s. Emotional intimacy is not just an add-on to physical intimacy. It is intimacy itself in its most enduring form. When you hold her hand, brush a stray hair from her face, laugh at her jokes, and share in her thoughts and fears, you ignite desire in ways performance never could. Women, especially as they age, crave this kind of connection. They want understanding, safety, and cherishing. Provide that, and everything else follows naturally. I had a friend, George, who was 72. He came to me dejected, convinced his wife no longer found him desirable. "Doc," he said, "I can't keep up anymore. She's lost interest." George had it all backwards. I asked, "When was the last time you simply held her without expectation?" His eyes widened. He had forgotten how to do that. He went home, held her hand, looked into her eyes and said, "I love you just as you are." Weeks later, he returned, smiling wider than I had seen in years. She had responded with warmth and affection he hadn't felt in decades. That, my friend, is the power of emotional intimacy. Humor also plays a huge role. Laughter is a natural aphrodisiac, especially in later years. Couples who laugh together constantly, tease each other mercilessly, and share joy tend to experience deeper desire. Being playful or silly is not a sign of weakness. It's one of the strongest forms of intimacy. I often tell men to never underestimate the power of making her laugh. Emotional intimacy teaches patience. Desire is cumulative, built over years, moment by moment, touch by touch. Don't rush. Listen, laugh, share. The fire will return, steadier and more satisfying than anything youthful exuberance could provide. Now, friend, let's move into the final secret, the one that overturns most men's beliefs about aging and sexuality. Secret number 6. Sexuality doesn't end with age, it evolves. Many men walk into their 60s, 70s, and 80s thinking their sexual life is over. I was one of them. I thought once my body slowed, once my stamina waned, once performance wasn't what it used to be, desire would vanish. But I was wrong, so wrong. Sexuality doesn't die, it transforms, it matures, it deepens in ways youth could never comprehend. And the most remarkable part? It can become richer and more fulfilling than anything you experienced in your 20s. I'll give you an example. One patient, John, was 75. He felt invisible in his marriage and believed his wife no longer found him desirable. I asked him to think of their shared memories, vacations, late-night talks, silly jokes, small gestures of love. I reminded him that desire isn't measured in hours or performance. It's measured in attention, presence, and care. He went home, began small, gentle touches, hand-holding, soft kisses, whispered stories. Weeks later, he reported that their intimacy had grown deeper than it had in decades. Desire had returned, not because he had regained youth, but because he had embraced connection, wisdom, and understanding. The beauty of evolving sexuality is that it doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Creativity flourishes in later years. You discover new ways to connect physically and emotionally, ways your younger self never imagined. Maybe it's a long afternoon of cuddling, whispered jokes at the table, or gentle caresses that last longer than the acts themselves. Every moment counts, every touch matters, and without the pressure of performance, intimacy becomes profoundly satisfying. Sexuality in later life also contributes to health. It improves circulation, balances hormones, reduces stress, and strengthens immunity. Think of it as natural therapy. Approach it with care, humor, and intention, and the benefits extend beyond the bedroom. It keeps your body healthier, your mind sharper, and your heart lighter. I wish I had known these truths decades ago. I wasted years worrying about performance, comparing myself to younger men, letting pride blind me to the true sources of passion. Friend, you have the advantage. I didn't. Awareness. You can embrace these secrets now, nourish emotional intimacy, evolve with your sexuality, laugh freely, connect deeply. Because here's the final truth. The heart doesn't age like the body. The mind doesn't stop craving connection. When you approach intimacy with wisdom, patience, humor, and care, your love life can flourish into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. You get to write your own story, vibrant and fulfilling. Take these secrets, apply them, share them, live them. Hold hands, share laughter, speak openly, and never let fear or ego steal your joy. Aging doesn't mean passion ends. It means passion evolves. Embrace it, and every day becomes richer, every night sweeter, your heart lighter than it's been in decades. Even at 80, I live proof that love, desire, and intimacy can thrive when nurtured, no matter how many birthdays have passed. So laugh often, touch tenderly, love deeply. Your best years of intimacy are not behind you. They are waiting to be discovered.